Hello, I'm Joan Manson of Manson Fine Art, and thank you for another installment of Sometimes Color Gets in the Way, in which I get to indulge myself by creating a white image on black paper. I'm using Pan Pastel Titanium White. First, I'm coating the back of the paper so that I can trace the image onto the Canson Black Drawing Paper, putting it in place with some adhesive, and I'll pick up a charcoal pencil and draw out the markings and the outline of my darling little kitty. This is a feral cat who lives in my neighborhood, one of about a half a dozen. We have neighbors here who take care of them, make sure that they get to the vet to be fixed, so we keep the population down. And they leave garage doors open so that the cats can come in during the inclement weather. And sometimes they even walk with their dogs when they walk their dogs in the morning and the evening. And we also have cats who are indoor outdoor. And I actually have dogs. I'm not a kitty cat person, I'm a dog person, but the cats get along fine and don't cause any problems. Now my drawing is complete. I'm going to bring in a white titanium pencil. It's a pastel pencil from Generals, and I'm going to, as you can see, I'm outlining anything that I need to be sure I don't miss, be sure that I can see it. The rest I'll be drawing in with the pen pastel. I'm using soft pastel tools, SOFFT, and pen pastel titanium white. I'm going to start with the ground. The photo is taken of the gray cat under a car in a driveway, and now I'm working and putting in the bricks. I have two minds when it comes to doing backgrounds and foregrounds, and that is sometimes I like them and sometimes I don't. Sometimes I just want to do a portrait of the subject and perhaps throw in a splash of color behind it. And sometimes all I want is that portrait, whether it's a bird or a cat or a human or a dog, uh, on the page. But in this case, I have a foreground, a middle ground, and a background. And it's all in shades of gray thanks to the use of pastel on black paper. You can also do some very nice things with colored pencils and pastel pencils on black paper as well. There's not a great tooth on this paper, so there's a limit to the amount of layering you can do before it stops taking hold. But when you're working with white on black, there aren't that many layers you have to create. So it really isn't a difficult situation. I'm going to start working on building up highlights and then blending those highlights in on the cat to create gray. This cat is a lovely little charcoal gray with a white tummy and nose, cheeks, or jowls, or whatever that area is right around the nose. Animal anatomy is not necessarily my strong suit. Put some on their toes. He has white toes. And this is, of course, very obviously a time-lapse video. Everything's moving along very quickly. Using the eraser here to draw on the white pastel to create some of the darker markings. You can use any kind of erasers you want. Pencil erasers, pencil cap erasers work very nicely for doing fine lines in small areas. The pencil eraser pretty much about the same width, or handles about the same width as the Tombow mono eraser. And I have those as well, and I have the Statler erasers and the square erasers, the little pink erasers, the kneaded erasers. I have many erasers. And they don't all actually always work in the same area the same way. So it's really worthwhile having lots of different kinds of erasers, because you'll see that some erasers don't work as well with pastels and colored pencils as do others. Everything works with graphite. At least that's my experience. But if you have all of your erasers sitting by or standing by or available to you while you're working, if the first one doesn't work, then you move on to the second one. But you do want to be careful and make sure that it's not an eraser that's going to leave a dark mark on your paper if you're using a light paper. Once in a while you get an eraser that just doesn't work right. But I always have several near my workspace, along with a variety of pastel tools, since I never know when I might decide to do something else. In this case, I'm just using the round edge, the square edge, and the baton tools from Soft Tools. I'm going back and forth with the black charcoal because I need areas to be a little blacker than I can make it with the eraser, and then bringing in fine white hairs for a little extra detail. And that I use the white pastel. Working on the little eyes. They'll have, whether you see a gleam in their eye or not, you really have to put a gleam, at least I do, have to put a gleam there, a little dot or reflection of light to make them seem more alive. Certainly you can lighten to create a contrast, the notion of a sphere in the eyeball, but there's something about a little reflection of light that makes it come to life. It's like giving them stray pieces of fur and hair on the eye, on the ears or the tummy or something, because you're making them seem more natural. Even though their coat may be perfectly smooth, somehow that stray hair makes them seem a little more natural. And here come the whiskers. And now the whiskers come in last. That's that final step. And the whiskers is just something you cannot do with your pan pastels. You do need to have a pencil for that. So now the cat portrait is complete. I thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and got some ideas about the work you'd like to do. If you'd like to see more of my videos, please click on subscribe. And if you'd like to be reminded of my next video, click on little bell. Thank you so much once again. You have a great day.